Welcome back. As sure as you are about tying the knot with the person you love, you may not feel that secure about your assets. If you're considering a prenuptial agreement before you say your I do's, attorney Barry Finkel is here to help you take you through the steps, right? And Barry, I think the first thing to establish, I mean, we hear about prenups all the time, as it's commonly referred to, especially when we're doing Hollywood news, but maybe the definition of what a prenuptial agreement really isn't clear. So let's define what a prenup is and how that can protect you.
A prenuptial agreement is an agreement entered into between spouses-to-be that resolve financial issues that may arise in the event of divorce or in the event of death.
Okay.
It can save people a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of aggravation if they can resolve the financial issues, for example, property distribution, support claims that would arise in the event of a divorce, and these items can be resolved prior to the parties getting married. The parties' intent can be expressed. Is it their intent to share all of their assets? Is it their intent that people that have assets going into the marriage, that retain those assets upon a divorce? What happens to assets that are acquired during the marriage? Most people believe that prenuptial agreements are only for people that already have money, or it's a second marriage and there's children from a prior marriage they're trying to protect. Not necessarily the case.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because this is a conversation that you have to have with your spouse-to-be before you actually get married. So I can imagine that could be an aggressive conversation, you know, almost like questioning the trust. So is this something for everybody, no matter how little or how much money you have?
Well,
I mean, who is this for?
It's a very, very difficult conversation to have. I mean, this is supposed to be the happiest time of your life.
Sure.
You're proclaiming your love for one another, you're planning your marriage and your honeymoon, and now you have to address a very uncomfortable issue of what happens to our assets if we get divorced. What happens if somebody dies? It can really test people's love and commitment to one another. But the fact is that half of the marriages in this country end in divorce. Although people don't think it's going to happen to them, the fact is that they are going to be, there's a 50-50 chance that they're going to be part of that statistic. But it's something that needs to be done, and it should be done for everybody, whether or not you have assets going into the marriage or not. If you can express your intent and your understanding as to how you're going to treat your finances, you're going to save yourself a lot of time and aggravation later on.
Right. I guess the whole idea is to try to, you know, to not even get to that point, just to try to mend it, don't break it, right? Do you have, I mean, how do you get couples to have that conversation? I mean, it boggles my mind. It must be so tough. I mean, and you've come in here before, Barry. We've had conversations about social media breaking up marriages. So I guess this day and age, you're seeing that more and more, right?
Well, I think you have to do it early on in the relationship. If you think that a marriage is something that may be in your future, you know, don't wait until the week before the wedding, the month before the wedding. Say, this is something, if we're going to get married, I want to have an understanding as to how we're going to treat our money, what's going to happen if we get divorced. Although a very tough discussion to have, something that should be done, and it would, again, people have to realize that they don't want to be part of the statistic, but it is a possibility, a 50-50 chance that it will happen. So, and plus the fact that you're now throwing in lawyers into the mix and creating an adversarial situation, it makes it very difficult. But I tell clients that once it's done, you sign the agreement, you put it in a safety deposit box, hopefully never have to look at it again.
Absolutely, yeah. Communication, that's the most important thing. And if you do have to have that conversation, you're a guy to have a conversation with. So if you want more information or you have any questions about a prenuptial agreement, you can give Barry a call yourself, 954-776-1414. You can check out his website as well, bfinkelpa.com, and he'll take you through the process. All right, Barry, thanks for coming back.
Thank you, Roxy.
Sherry, over to you.